into the West Coast Conference, into the kennel, where the Zags got dudes, Pacific, and number 2, Gonzaga. And in the West Coast Conference, Gonzaga, of course, on top, but many people feel a great shot at 4 teams in the NCAA tournament. Hi, everybody. I'm Rich Waltz, along with the coach Steve Lapis. Jamie Erdahl will join us shortly. Welcome to Spokane, where Gonzaga's number 2 in the country. Come Monday, they'll probably be back at number 1.
Well, as long as they win tonight, but it's not that big a deal here being number 1. They've been number 1 so many times in the last 5 years. This is an incredible team, and this is an incredible building.
I know it's fun for you. Your first visit.
First time.
Here. Now, here's a little bit of history that you should be aware of. They dominate here, Coach. 64 straight at home.
I mean, just watching these games on TV, you can tell how electric the McCarthy Center is. They've been unbelievable here. 64 straight wins is an incredible thing. But let's face it, it's the guys wearing the white uniforms that are pretty good, no doubt about it.
Every college team needs a big man like this. Drew Timme, 17.5 a game, shooting lights out. But you know what? Gonzaga's got 2 of these guys, because Chet Holmgren is great as well.
And he was the best freshman coming into college basketball this year. How about this kid? He's shooting 64% from the field. He shoots threes. He averages 3.5 block shots a game and over 2 assists. This kid can do it all. 7 feet, runs the floor. Watch him handle the ball. Spectacular.
Let's talk Pacific. They're playing their best basketball of the season right now. They put a scare in USC 2 days ago. Alfonso Anderson, the transfer from Utah State, he's playing well.
Yeah, he was 6th man of the year in the Mountain West last year. He's only 6'6", and he's going to have to guard a guy like Drew Timme tonight, which is not going to be easy. He had 22 and 9 at USC, and that was a game that Pacific almost won. They're going to need a lot from him tonight.
Most teams in the country are in mid-season form. Gonzaga right now is in March Madness form. Number 2, Gonzaga and Pacific in the West Coast Conference.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. What's your beef? By Jeep. There's only one. And by AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, and secure.
Lights out in Spokane. Starting lineups underway. Number 2, Gonzaga and the Pacific Tigers. Now for the Pacific Tigers, game plan. For that, we turn to our point guard, Jamie Erdahl. Jamie?
Game plan, take little ripples that this team has experienced over the last couple weeks and turn it into a positive tidal wave of momentum this season. 8 new faces for Pacific. First-year head coach Leonard Perry told us that it's been ugly, but it's been fun for them to get to this point. In the last 2 weeks, Pacific has beat BYU. They led 21st ranked USC at the half before losing that game on Tuesday night. The sparks are there in terms of buying into Perry's system, but how challenging they can be to Gonzaga tonight. Mark Few actually told us that his concern is that despite Pacific being undersized, that will draw his big men out as this game goes on. Just another challenge that Gonzaga will have to deal, but hey, at home, anything could happen.
Yeah, all right, thank you, Jamie. All right, starting lineups, Coach. Well, certainly for Pacific, their hands are full here. There's one guy that doesn't get a lot of headlines that really should. Rasir Bolton of Gonzaga.
The transfer from Iowa State. He averaged 16 points a game there in 33 minutes. He was only a 31% three-point shooter there. Now he's actually Gonzaga's best three-point shooter by percentage, 45%. Really improved in that regard.
Leonard Perry in his first year, he was an assistant for Damon Stoudemire. Stoudemire, of course, in July, leaving for the Boston Celtics, assistant coaching position. So year number 6 in Stockton, his first year as a head coach. And the run by Mark Few here is unparalleled. 23 years, every year in the NCAA tournament. And he's got his Bulldogs at number 2, and with the Auburn loss and 2 Gonzaga wins this weekend, they'll be back at number 1. Series history. 21st all-time meeting, 19-1, 17 straight. And you know what? That guy looks familiar. That's Chet Holmgren's former high school teammate. Jalen Suggs is back in the house tonight.
What a player he is, and he's going to be a great great player in the NBA also, so great to see him come back here. You know, last year, no fans, he never got what he just got a couple minutes ago.
Underway. Now the tempo in this one's going to be interesting.
Well, it's going to be interesting because you know that Pacific is going to try to keep it slow, but they have to look to run a little bit. You can't set up against these big guys the whole game. And look where they go right away. They're going to go early and often into Drew Timme. Big size advantage over Alfonso Anderson.
Pacific really slowed it down in that first half against USC. It's tough to slow Gonzaga down. They are one of the best up-tempo teams in the country.
And you know, Rich, as I said, you need to slow down, but you still got to try and get some transition because you can't set up and do that every time against these big guys.
Live ball turnovers and missed shots. Gonzaga gets down the floor and shoots faster than anybody. Timme, and one.
So the first two possessions, they let the ball go inside a little too easy. And I talked to Leonard Perry before the game. He told me we're going to front the big guys, but they have not done a good job. Timme's catching the ball way too deep so far in this game.
Drew Timme and Gonzaga are the best in the country at rim shots, and that's shots at the rim. They're at 78% when they get in tight.
You know, you got two guys that score 33 points a game between them. One shoots 60%, the other one shoots 64%. That's some serious numbers.
USC's press was the difference in the second half 2 nights ago. They really pressured Pacific, sped up the game, put 52 points on the board in the second half.
Yeah, that made all the difference in the world. They played without their best guy in Mobley also, we got to say that. But this is what Alfonso Anderson can do. He's got Chet Holmgren guarding him. Holmgren's got to get in the stance. That's not easy for a guy 7 feet.
Timme, catch, bucket.
High-low. Holmgren is a great passer. That's why these two kids work so well together. Holmgren and Timme, classic high-low there.
And Mark Few confessed to us it took him a while to figure out how to use those two together. That's Crockroll. That's his best shot, a floater in the lane.
Yeah, he's only taken 13 threes all year. That's what he wants to do.
That's a straight-on, wide-open three from Rasir Bolton.
You know, that's not good defense. You got to get back quick. As I said, 45% from the three-point line. You got to find Bolton quick.
Anderson can shoot the three. Cockrell doesn't shoot the three much at all. And Anderson gets a clean look. And it bangs out.
They've taken 34% of their shots in transition, Gonzaga. That is second in the nation. You got to get back in transition.
Oh, Bolton all the way down the lane.
Yeah, that's just not good defense. And this game is going way too fast right now if you're Pacific.
Nick Blake with the basketball. Transfer out of Las Vegas.
I'm not crazy about that shot. I'm not crazy about that one.
Bolton, one of the fastest to ever play here at Gonzaga. Ball out of bounds, it stays with Gonzaga.
Well, you see Rasir Bolton here. They throw it to the wing, and I don't know, his man got lost completely. That's a wide open three for a guy 45%.
This is Julian Strother. Gets inside on Blake. Again, when they get to the rim, they make buckets.
And here's a guy who hardly played last year, and he has stepped up this year to become a big-time player. 6'7", tremendous three-point shooter. Good timeout there.
Leonard Perry senses this one is already starting to get a little too wide for him. And a quick timeout for Pacific. The offensive numbers are overwhelming for Gonzaga.
Yeah, I would say that that's pretty much overwhelming. You're talking about shooting 54% as a team. I mean, that's incredible. And the margin of victory, 25.6 points. I mean, this team is too explosive. If you don't slow this thing down, you're going to get blown away.
And all of those numbers are increased in West Coast Conference play. Blake off the curl. Nembhard cuts him off. Anderson against Nembhard. He'll back him down. No bigs in there now, and Anderson goes in and exploits it.
Well, that time they switched, and that's good for Alfonso Anderson because he ends up with Nembhard on him.
Holmgren's such a great passer and a three-point threat, and he's so skilled.
Are you kidding me?
That's a spinning left-handed hook.
Are you kidding me? A spin like that and finish with the left, that was, and he wasn't at the rim. That was like a 7-foot hook shot.
Wilson Rouse prop roll. Bob holds. And that's going to be a double dribble. And a turnover.
Take a look at this move here by Chet Holmgren. He goes with the spin, doesn't really get to the basket. He's got to shoot a floater. You know, if a 7-footer has a floater in the lane, how do you stop a 7-footer with a floater?
You know, and Mark Few was very honest. He said, look, in the first month, I really didn't know what we had. I didn't realize where to put Chet. They had him in the low blocks. That didn't work. Once they moved him out on the perimeter and in space, everything started to click. Strother's three. Wow.
You know, plus he's getting used to playing. His last 5 games, he's averaging 20 points a game. He's 36 for 50 from the field. He's shooting 55, 60% from 3. Getting better and better every game. You know, for a while there, it looked like Jabari Smith at Auburn was going to be the freshman of the year in the nation. He's slid a little lately, and this guy's coming on like gangbusters.
Gonzaga continues to pressure up the floor. It's a good find in low, but a spinning hook by Sam Freeman is off the front iron. And right now, Pacific can't do anything to slow down this Express. Nembhard. Knocked out of bounds, and it goes to Pacific.
That was off of Pacific.
They're going to change that call.
Yeah, I would think.
7 of 10 from the field, 2 of 3 from distance. Number 2 in the country. That's Gonzaga. AP top 10 for the number 2 team in the country. Gonzaga's got St. Mary's in here on Saturday. They win those 2 games. They're back at number 1, but Steve Lapis, there's a lot of losses in the top 10 these past few days.
Yeah, there's no doubt it's been a rough week for the top 10, but one of the things that you see, Auburn, Gonzaga, Purdue, Arizona, Kentucky, Duke, these guys all have really good big men. The 4 and 5 men in the country this year, this is one of the best groups of those players that I've seen in a long time.
Arizona's in the neighborhood, by the way. They're down in Pullman, 90 miles away, playing Washington State. Mark Few got a chance to say hi to his buddy Tommy Lloyd because Arizona practiced today in the Gonzaga practice facility. That's a slicing bucket by Julian Strother.
You know, they're getting a lot of shots at the rim, way too easy. You got to pack it in. Pray that they miss from 3. That's really the only chance that you have. These drives are killing Pacific.
Anderson, and he comes up short. Heck, I thought we were in the wrong place when Arizona was walking out of the practice facility when we came to watch shoot-around today. It's like, wait a minute, what are the Wildcats doing here?
You're going to see Strother here, great curl. He reads how his man is playing, he's trailing him, and he just goes right to the basket. I really believe, you got to pick your poison. It's going to be tough. You got to pack it in, make them shoot contested threes, and pray that they miss. That's how you have to try and play this team.
Pacific is 3 of 8 from the field. They're 0 of 2 from distance.
And let me just tell you this, I'm not saying it's going to work. It might not, but that's your best bet. But they only make 9 threes a game. It's not like they can't shoot either. They can, but pack it in and pray.
Shot clock down. Anderson gets it off. And Gonzaga has the rebound. Julian Strother takes it away.
And you know what I'm seeing Gonzaga live? They are tremendous. They are big all around. Their guards are big. They have really great size.
And they pass the ball so well. Nembhard misses the 3.
Well, you got 2 big men that average 2 assists a game each, so that tells you right there what kind of passing team they are.
They're bigs, the 3 of them, including Watson off the bench, Anton Watson. They have 35% of the team's assists. That's unheard of. Freeman gets in, gets a bucket, and he'll get a free throw.
That was a pretty good move. I mean, he gives Pacific a little bit of size, and he just uses his strong body and puts it on Holmgren, puts his shoulder into him, and is able to get it to the rim. You can see it right here. And this is where Holmgren's got to improve, obviously, is to get stronger.
Improve is a good word for Pacific. They've really improved these last 3 weeks.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, they beat BYU, who's probably an NCAA tournament team. They played USC really tough here. They were up 2 with 6 minutes to go in the game at USC.
USC's number 21 in the country. Timmy backing in.
That's what you have to make him do. That was a good job. They bodied him up, made him shoot a little bit of a fadeaway 10-foot shot. That's how you need to play it.
Avdalovic, the best three-point shooter. Bailey rotates Cockrell. Holmgren, bit of a mismatch there. Bailey gets around Timmy, missed the running hook. Strother with the rebound. I mean, 14 seconds. That's the average possession time for Gonzaga. That's the best in the country.
Yeah, number 2 in tempo, number 1 in seconds per possession. And you see it right there.
Nembhard with a three.
Go under the screen, they'll make you pay.
Avdalovic misses his first three. Nembhard races up the floor. And that's a rare turnover from one of the better assist-to-turnover guys in the country, Andrew Nembhard. Join gridiron connoisseur Adam Shine live from Radio Row in Los Angeles. He'll get you ready with all the latest Super Bowl headlines and get you ready for Super Bowl Sunday. Time to shine tomorrow, 6 Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Wilson Rouse, offensive.
Great help by Nembhard. Nembhard saw that coming as the secondary defender and gave great help on that drive. You're going to see him slide in right there. That is what you call great help side defense. But the only way you can do that is if you see the ball and see your man at the same time. He had a vision on everything there, Andrew Nembhard.
Watson in the game, pick and pop. Here's his three, and it's short. He's played really well for Gonzaga, getting about 18 minutes a game.
And here's a guy who started half the games last year.
I mean, if he were on another team in this conference, or any other conference for that matter, he's a first-team type all-conference player, no question. Jaden Byers in the ball game. He's a freshman running the point. And there he goes. Oh, left hand. Welcome to the kennel, Jaden Byers, the Riverside freshman.
That was not good defense by Gonzaga. That was way too easy, obviously.
Watson this time has the distance. That's a two.
You got to get a stop here and there. I mean, Gonzaga's on their way to getting 100 in this game. That's not good for Pacific.
That's what they've been doing at West Coast Conference.
Yeah, I mean, they're on their way again. They got 24. There's still 2 minutes to go before it gets to 10.
Rouse. Holmgren really changes their defense when he's in the middle. Byers goes at it again. And this time Holmgren cleans it up. Nolan Hickman, the freshman, he's really good too.
You know, they got guys like all the great programs do. They get good guys every year, but they got guys in the wings too that step up the next year, like a guy like Hickman, like Julian Strother.
Yeah, not many five-star recruits come and sit and come off the bench for 15 minutes a night, but you got a couple of them for Gonzaga in Hunter Salas and Nolan Hickman.
Oh, you saw that coming.
Nolan Hickman missed the layup.
He slipped at the last second.
Strong baseline drive and a foul. That's Jeremiah Bailey.
Well, this Gonzaga team, we know how they like to push this thing up. Drew Timmy right there. This team is tough. 26-10 early on.
Tonight's Into It TurboTax Live player profile. Julian Strother, the sophomore out of Las Vegas.
This kid averages 13 points a game. He's been terrific. He shoots 51%. He's also a tremendous three-point shooter. And tonight, he's getting a whole lot done. 3 for 3 from the field, 7 points, taking it to the basket, knocking out that three-point shot there. You know, reads the defense, knows how to move without the ball. This team's got so many weapons. That's why they're going to be #1 in the country.
Strother averages 13 a game. All 5 starters average in double figures. But the bench really plays a lot. You get Nolan Hickman, 18 minutes a night. Antoine Watson, about 19 a night. Hunter Salas plays a lot. When they come in, there's not a big drop-off.
Well, if you're winning games by 25 points a game, you're going to play a lot of guys. guys and not worry about it, that's for sure.
Jeremiah Bailey, senior out of Fairbanks, Alaska.
Their walk-ons get the most run in the country.
Somebody's got a metric on that. I don't know if Ken Palm has got walk-on production.
He's got everything else. He should have that one. And I like this. Go zone. Give it a shot. And, you know, they haven't played a lot of zone this year, but they used the zone against USC, Pacific did, and it gets you to stand around and maybe not attack the basket as much.
Hickman finds Watson, whips it to Nemhard, who launches. Rebound tipped out. Hunter Salas in the ball game for Gonzaga.
Now that's the problem, though, is when you play zone, you worry about offensive rebounding. But right now, I think offensive rebounding is the least of their worries. Get Gonzaga to miss and then hope you can get a rebound. That's a good way to start.
You saw Leonard Perry, the head coach for Pacific. Now, he has beaten Gonzaga in Spokane, and he beat him in Moscow, Idaho. But as a player, and that's Byers, the lefty, who has a couple impressive buckets off the bench. Salas drives, got some space, missed the bucket. Leonard Perry played for the Idaho Vandals, and they were good back then. They had some good coaches. Tim Floyd was there. Kermit Davis was there. Larry Eustace was there.
Yeah, he was very close to Larry Eustace. He was his assistant at Colorado State. Good curl there.
Avdalovich couldn't make the catch. Byers is not shy, and he misses that jumper. Nemhard, why not? When Gonzaga hasn't scored in a minute, it feels like a major drought.
You got to make them play half court, and that's been right now. They haven't gone up and down and gone. They've only scored 2 points in the last 3 minutes. That's pretty good. That zone has helped.
Anderson, that's a strong move. Good player. Garfield High School in Seattle, Utah State, 6th man of the year in the Mountain West last year. Timmy kind of forced that pass. Salas bailed him out.
No doubt a big part of Pacific's game plan is to attack Timmy off the dribble.
And we check in with Jamie Erdahl. Jamie?
Well, you don't think these guys are competitive. What did Leonard Perry tell us about the one and only time that he's been able to beat Mark Few? It's back in the early 90s when he was playing for Larry Eustace. They actually beat Gonzaga twice. Mark Few was an assistant on that staff. So Perry knows the last time he beat him. He just had to go way back in the archives to do so.
It's good stuff there, Jamie. Timmy with the score. The head coach at the time at Gonzaga wasn't Dan Munson either. It was Dan Fitzgerald.
I remember Dan.
And Fitzgerald he's kind of the godfather that started this whole ball rolling. And of course, Mark Few has taken it to even higher levels. Speaking of that, how about Alfonso Anderson?
This is what he was doing at USC the other night. He was taking that ball to the basket hard. Timmy's having trouble staying in front of him off the dribble. I don't know. They went back man to man. I don't know why, because now you're asking for this.
Timmy stripped to the ball. Good double coming from Jeremiah Bailey.
And, you know, I talked to Leonard Perry about that. He said he wasn't going to double Timmy in the low post. He was just going to try to front him. That time, they did double, and it worked well.
8 new players in this Pacific program. Anderson, a contested 3.
I don't like that shot, not one bit.
Every Gonzaga big can play outside. They can handle, they can pass, and they can all shoot the 3.
Yeah, they run a great motion offense. 5-man motion, then just going to Timmy. I don't know why they went man-to-man. The zone was doing something. They had missed 3 or 4 in a row. Now they go man-to-man. It's just right back to Timmy.
And when they're man-to-man, they're asking Anderson, who's their biggest offensive threat, to shut Timmy down.
He can't do it. He's 6'6". Timmy's one of the best, is maybe the best low-post scorer in the country.
Byers, high arc. 30-17 Gonzaga lead.
Now Byers is on Timmy. I mean, they see this. Oh, now they went to the zone, thankfully.
Nemhard missed. Timmy is fouled from behind. Well, a little life in these Pacific Tigers. Gonzaga still up by 13.
Gonzaga with a 13-point lead as we welcome you back to Spokane. And we are also welcoming to Spokane Senior Vice President of Basketball for the NCAA, Dan Gavitt. Dan, I know why we're here, but what are you doing here on a Thursday night?
I try to get around to see some games, visit some campuses, visit with coaches and athletic directors when I can, and So it's great to be here in Spokane at Gonzaga.
You seem a lot less stressed than when I saw you last March pulling off one of the most unique NCAA tournaments of all time. Now that that is in your rear view, what was that whole experience like?
Hard to believe that everybody was able to pull that off. CBS and Turner right at the top of that list with us, but to do it for the student athletes and for the coaches, Jalen Suggs and his teammates who are here tonight, Coach Few, obviously the Baylor Bears winning the national championship, it was very gratifying.
Now that you're able to look ahead, are you able to tell us that what we know as the NCAA tournament, March Madness, will it go back to what we know and how our preparation's going?
Preparation's going very well. It'll be more normal for sure. I wouldn't say it's going to be 2019 normal, but it'll be great to have fans back, to have the tournament played in 14 different locations, starting in Dayton and going all the way through New Orleans. It's just great to be here with you and to be here with our fans, right? We missed that so much last year. It'll make for a great tournament experience this year.
So we know that Gonzaga will be a team that we'll see in March. Next week, next Saturday on CBS is the bracket preview show. What's different about it this year, and how much do you love that show in late February and how much it sets up the field of March Madness?
It's great for fans, for teams to get a sense for where they may be. It'll be 3 weeks from Selection Sunday. The Super Bowl being a week later this year, it's closer to Selection Sunday, so it'll bring a little more intrigue, I think, and really get everybody excited for March Madness.
And nothing will be as challenging as last year. Dan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Jamie. Good to see you.
You too.
All right, Jamie, nice job there. Drew Timme, you'll probably see some shots of him on that selection show. Strother three.
Well, Dan has done a great job with the NCAA. Obviously, he's the son of Dave Gavitt, who was the father of the Big East and who was a great coach at Providence in his own right, too. So it's great to see Dan here tonight.
The Gonzaga profile, as it sits at this moment, 19-2, 8-0. See the net ranking is first, 5-2 against quad ones. The notable wins, their losses to Duke was by 3 points, to Alabama by 9.
Yeah, obviously this team is headed for a 1 seed without a doubt.
Bolton penetrates. Nicely done. Senior, the transfer from Iowa State. Somewhere his dad, Ray, happy about that. Coached him. Proctor. Timme lost it on the floor, held ball. Arrow goes Pacific's way.
You take a look here, Rasir Bolton he sees that gap and he just attacks it, but they don't step up on him and give a little help on that. Too easy for that floater.
Bolton averaging just over 10 a game. Shot clock at 20. Gonzaga by 15. It's a strong move. And they are attacking. Sam Freeman, the 6'10 sophomore, a transfer from Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good, strong move.
Inside, outside, Holmgren from Timme.
You got to guard them all.
Jaylen Brown, a quick three.
Yeah, Pacific hasn't made a three yet, but let's understand this. Gonzaga's holding people under 30% from the three-point line. One of the best in the nation at that.
It's going to be a Pacific foul. Jeremiah Bailey pulling on Holmgren on the pick and roll. Join the women of We Need to Talk as Leslie Visser sits down with Bengals great Ickey Woods ahead of the big game. We Need to Talk. That's tonight, 11:30 Eastern on CBS Sports Network.
Wasn't he doing the Ickey Shuffle?
That's right, the Ickey Shuffle. You know it's Super Bowl week when the Ickey Shuffle emerges.
I saw a commercial today that happened to be with it. I won't say what commercial it was. He was in it doing the shuffle.
Another good double team on Timme. This time Anderson knocks it loose.
Yeah, good help from the weak side. He saw the pass coming in. He gave Freeman the help that he needed.
Pacific has a little more rhythm and organization. Adalovich, he is their three-point sniper.
Yeah, he's a good shooter. He got open there. He was alone on that handoff. He was able to knock out their first three-point shot.
Strother around the screen. You can't leave Holmgren alone out there. He'll hit the threes. 60% in conference beyond the arc.
Are you kidding me?
And he can hit the fall away from 12 too.
A 7-footer shooting fadeaways from the baseline. You are not stopping that. Oh, he's going to go off the dribble. That's what he's been doing to Timmy, Alfonso Anderson, the whole night.
This is more like a possession against USC in the first half. Drawn out.
See, that time Cockerwood brought his man over, and that was not good offense.
Strother finishes. Bolton set it up. And the doors bust wide open. The lead is 17.
Yeah, those are the mistakes you can't make. I talked to Leonard Perry. He said live ball turnovers in this building. He said 2 baskets can seem like 5. See, again, no good spacing there. Made Anderson, he wanted to drive it.
Cockrell. Wilson Rouse. And Pacific from distance now 1 of 10. Bolton lob. Holmgren fouls. Goes down hard, gets up quickly. Everybody exhale.
Well, take a look at this move on the baseline. Chet Holmgren, all 7 feet of him. With the fadeaway, he bump him a little bit. I'll just shoot it off one leg on the baseline. And then the steal, Rasir Bolton finishing 39-22. Gonzaga.
39-22, 3:16 left in the West Coast Conference. First half in Spokane, AT&T at the half is coming up. Brent Stover, Brandon Rush, John Rothstein, Seth Davis in New York. All the night's highlights and news around college basketball. Some really good games going on tonight, including the Arizona-Washington State game down the road. It's AT&T at the half. Defense leads to offense.
Well, this is a combination of good defense and bad offense. Stop it right there. Cockerell here has to get out of there because they know Anderson wants to go one-on-one, but he's got his man there ready to help. That's what you don't want. The best offense they've had is Alfonso Anderson going off the dribble. You got to clear that side out, so get the help out of there. Instead, Rasir Bolton makes that great steal.
To illustrate that, Pacific has just 1 assist on the night for 10 buckets. Gonzaga 7 assists, 17 buckets.
Yeah, their best offense has been Alfonso Anderson going off the dribble, which is what he does well. But when you want to clear it, you got to clear the side and get the help out of there.
If you weren't with us for the beginning of the game, Chet Holmgren's high school teammate and many of the guys in Gonzaga uniforms teammate last year is here tonight. Jalen Suggs has a night off from the NBA, arrived with a big spotlight during the kind of introductions. Jamie will speak with him in the second half. That's pretty cool, though, and you made a great point. He didn't get to experience this last year. He played 1 year, no crowds, no fans, no camera.
Yeah, he got a lot of love from the crowd here like he should, but I'm also thinking, how good a high school team is that? Oh, my God.
I know. I mean, those are 2 NBA lottery picks.
Yeah.
Suggs was 5th overall.
In high school.
Many think Holmgren will be 1st overall.
I don't know how you can play a team like that.
I checked on the high school this year. There are 500 teams.
Yeah.
That's Jordan Bell, the transfer, and flying from the baseline, Sam Freeman.
I mean, he's showing a lot more life in this game than he's really shown just about the whole year.
Bolton, that seemed like a forced 3.
I mean, Freeman's averaging 4 points a game. He's showing me he's got a live body.
Cockrell, Wilson Roush,
Good curl.
Abdulovich rolls it in.
That was a good job of reading the defense and curling.
Pacific has made just 1 3. They're 1 of 11.
And you know, the one thing that so far Gonzaga has not done, they only have 1 block shot in this game.
Timmy, that's a gorgeous pass from Nembhard.
What are they doing?
There's nobody down there to take the ball out. Oh, the ball rolled into the photographers.
Well, that's a good way to slow the game down. Don't pick it up and throw it inbound.
Unless the photographer inbound. Avdalovic, a three. Holmgren the rebound. He's got 4 in the ball game to go with 9 points. Timmy's 11 leads, and Holmgren. And just like that, the lead is at 20. 12 points, 4 of 4 from the field. Not a great outside shooter, but whatever reason, when he gets in the paint, suddenly he's accurate.
Yeah, when you're a point guard, you've only attempted 13 threes the entire season. Obviously, shooting is not your thing, but he can get in that lane.
Strother misses, Bell retrieves. Pacific has, for the last 8 minutes, Pacific has played a pretty good game.
Yeah, no doubt. I think the zone helped them out to slow things down a little bit. They've been doing their best to try and score in the half court. They've only made 1 3 in the game. They're 1 out of 12. And I like this. Even though there's a differential on the shot clock and the game clock, this is still a good move.
Cockrell has speed, rises over Holmgren. Holmgren had Bolton wide open. Final seconds. And got a little too ambitious there. Bell almost turns it over.
Yeah, Mark Few can't be happy about that. That's one Holmgren should have given up to one of the guards.
Avdalovic got it off, and the follow comes after the buzzer. And so Gonzaga's going to go to the locker room with an 18-point halftime lead, the #2 team in the country. Pacific got off to a really slow start here tonight. Had some moments, but still in a big hole, headed towards half.
Yeah, they've hung in there against a team that is dynamic, 64 straight in this building. So they're in a tough spot, but they did a pretty good job there in the second half of the half.
Jamie Erdahl down on the floor with Gonzaga assistant Brian Michelson.
Coach, Pacific really wants to slow the game down. How well have you been able to counteract that to create this lead?
I thought our pace was pretty good. We knew that they'd want to play slow. They've done that to us in this building before, but I thought we got some stops and got out and ran.
Jalen Suggs is here. Chet Holmgren looks like he's playing with a lot of emotional energy. How fun is that to see?
It's fun. It's great to have Jalen back in the building, and Chet brings great energy. He's got unbelievable energy for a young guy. So to have his buddy here is even more fun.
Absolutely. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jamie. #2 in the country, Gonzaga, a big halftime lead. After the break, Brent and the gang in New York, AT&T at the half. You're watching college basketball on CBS Sports Network, 24-hour home, CBS Sports. Not a non-fungible token, but look, Timmy and the Unicorn, dominant in the first half. #2 Gonzaga, 46-28. Rich Waltz on the Steve Lapis. Jamie Erdahl will join us shortly. Look, I know Gonzaga was a heavy favorite, but in these games, they don't mess around. They come out and they smack you right in the mouth.
Well, there's no doubt about it, especially when they're in this building. But those two big guys are so good. They make it so hard for you because they get great shots and they don't miss. Timmy, 5 for 8, 11 points in the first half. They went to him early and often. He's the guy with the moves in the low post. And then Chet Holmgren, I mean, what doesn't this guy do? He makes tough shots. He makes easy shots. I mean, there's a floater there, a half hook. Then this fade away off of one leg. He also made 2 threes, 12 points, and 4 for 4 from the field.
DiGiorno brings you our first half stats. If you're going to upset somebody, you're going to have to shoot well from 3, and that didn't happen for Pacific.
Yeah, I mean, they're normally not a great three-point shooting team, but let's face it, they're playing Gonzaga, who is one of the best three-point defensive teams in the country.
All right, to our point guard, Jamie Erdahl. Jamie?
Hey, 4 turnovers in the first half on the road against the top team in the country. Leonard Perry is okay with that. What he wasn't okay with was some ill-advised threes taken as the half progressed there. Lap, I did ask him about Alfonso Anderson creating more off the dribble. He said if we can make Timmy and Holmgren close out, he has more confidence with his guys in space. Something to keep an eye on.
All right, thank you, Jamie.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. We talked about some of the threes that they took, and they took some threes quickly at the beginning of the shot clock, too, which is even worse.
20 minutes to go. Gonzaga trying to add to their resume. #2 team in the country. They win tonight. They've got St. Mary's here, and that's a huge game. In the West Coast Conference, they're waiting for it here in Spokane.
And that's one of the things that Mark Few was somewhat concerned about, the fact that they know St. Mary's is coming in here, and they're attacking off the dribble right away.
Bailey driving and draws contact.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremiah Bailey here, good move going to the basket, and really Holmgren's got his hands on him. That was a foul earlier, but he ends up getting now 2 shots.
Bailey goes to the line. By the way, speaking of St. Mary's, they're number 22 in the country, and they're up by 25 early in the second against a much improved San Diego team. So they're playing well. Randy Bennett deserves sainthood for what he's done in Moraga, that small campus.
Terrific coach, and I'm sure he was concerned about them looking past San Diego tonight, knowing this is coming up on Saturday.
All right, so Pacific gets a bucket to open things here, actually a couple points. Nemhard around the screen. Timmy rolls, he was open briefly. Bolton, bang, wow.
You know, you pick your poison, you go underneath the screen. He's a 45% three-point shooter. You're taking a chance. He knocked it out.
It's like you could go down there 1 through 7, maybe 1 through 8 almost. And you know, the frontline guys are good, but the guys that don't get a lot of pub, those guys are really, really good. Anderson head down, Nemhard to steal.
Nemhard in perfect position to be able to help on that drive.
You just saw his brother the other night.
Yeah, for Creighton. Ryan Nemhard, freshman. Probably going to be the Rookie of the Year in the Big East. He's a 5-time Rookie of the Week in the Big East for Creighton, and he made the game-winning. He didn't play great that night, but he did have the game-winning basket.
You and I see him next week.
Next Thursday, yep.
Clock roll.
They got a couple of good freshmen. They got a kid, Arthur Kaluma, too. Another one's a good player. Good freshman that Greg McDermott has. Another help. See, they're helping now. I don't blame them. The team is 1 for 13 from 3, Pacific. So help, load up in the lane, make them make a 3. They haven't made any. Now they're helping more off the dribble, Gonzaga.
Only 5 to shoot on a baseline out of bounds. Gotta get that shot up. Anderson does.
They had no choice that time. Shot clock was going.
Right up the floor, Strother.
If you don't get back in transition and locate and at least get a hand up, it's over, especially with a guy like Strother.
It's a deadly combination for Gonzaga. They're one of the very best tempo teams in the country, and they're one of the most efficient shooting teams in the country. Those two things don't always go hand in hand, but they've got both of those.
No, they're, as we've talked about, number 2 in tempo. Look at this guy.
That's a travel and a turnover.
And that's the other thing about them. They all run the floor. I mean, Strother's there. And look, there are 4 orange shirts back, and nobody goes to Strother. That's just not good recognition in transition.
And Dolovich cut off. Croc roll.
Foul.
West Coast Conference. Now, a couple teams got a shot to the shins last week, right? BYU going down, San Francisco going down.
Yeah, I mean, San Francisco going down to Portland at home. That's a quad 4 loss, very bad loss. BYU went down to Pacific not long ago. That was a bad loss for them, so they've got to be careful. They could get 4 teams in. I don't think it'll be 5. Santa Clara, I think, is on the outside looking in, but they better not mess around. They'll end up with 2 or 3.
Santa Clara's put themselves in a better position with their upset over St. Mary's. They're on the, not on the bubble, but on the periphery.
1 quad 1 win, and their non-conference strength is scheduled 248. I think it's going to be tough.
If they knock off St. Mary's, if they...
That's it's different. You know, I understand that. I'm talking about right now.
Holmgren. That's just too easy. Holmgren in this game, ultra efficient. 5 of 5 from the field. 2 of 2 from distance. 2 of 2 from the line. He's got 5 rebounds and an assist.
That's why he's shooting 64% on the season. It's going to go higher. It's hard to make it go higher, but right now, he's going to go higher.
Bailey is blocked, and he gets to the line. Gary Parrish said it last night on Inside College Basketball. He's one of the most unique players and prospects that have come along in the last 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, the length, you know, we talk about kids being long. This kid's long. He's all arms and legs. I mean, he's got long, besides being 7 feet, he's got really long arms, which makes him even more, which makes him bigger and tougher.
And in a lot of the draft projections for Holmgren, he's not only in the top 3, he's the #1 overall in many of these models.
You know, it started the year with a debate with him, Jabari Smith, Paulo Banchero, those 3. I think he's starting to emerge a little bit above those 2 guys.
Is it ball handling? Is it the three-point shooting?
I think, no, well, Smith is a very good three-point shooter. Banchero's a little bit up and down when it comes to 3. You know, they're all pretty good ball handlers. This guy here, though, I think the shot blocking, the way he runs the floor, the way he passes the ball, you know, let me tell you something. I think with all 3 of those guys, it's going to be, it's kind of like, what do you like better, a ribeye or a filet? You know what I mean? You can't go wrong with either one, no matter what your taste is. And I think that's how the first pick, it's not going to be because he's better. Those 3 guys are all really, really good.
Anderson fouled to get rebounding position. He tossed Nembhard aside.
You know, what do you like, Ferrari or Maserati?
Well, you know, and Mark Few told us the thing about Holmgren is he's improved dramatically in just 2 months' time.
Yeah, he absolutely has. And Banchero, I think, has been a little bit up and down, and now Smith's down a little bit lately.
Holmgren misses the 3, and the rebound to Pacific's Jaden Byers, who had a nice first half. Byers has a couple of buckets. Nobody in double figures for Pacific. 4 different Bulldogs in double figures, led by Holmgren's 14. Byers likes to get to the rim, stumbles and walks. When we get back, lottery pick. Not Holmgren, Jalen Suggs with our Jamie Erdahl. It's an NCAA tournament history. We go back to last year, national semifinal. Bruins of UCLA just tied it in overtime. Jalen Suggs beats the buzzer, beats UCLA, and sends Gonzaga into the championship game. Suggs is here tonight, and he's with our Jamie Erdahl. Jamie?
And he just had the biggest smile on his face as you relived that memory for him. What's it like to hear that, to know that that is part of your history with Gonzaga basketball?
You know, it means the world because that's a part of our history here at Gonzaga. You know, and I got to share that with the teammates, with everybody, you know, part of Zag Nation. So that moment was really special, and, you know, just to hear it back, you know, it was real funny.
All right, so you were introduced here today. You've played here. You were part of the starting 5 last year, but you were never able to go into the student section and jump around. Like, what's this whole night been like for you?
It's been surreal. You know, I've had this biggest smile on my face since we took off, you know, to come touch down here in Spokane. And, you know, just to feel the love that I have here in this building and to feel the energy and be able to interact with the crowd and the fans, it's been surreal. So, you know, I've been enjoying myself.
You're sitting here on the baseline. Chet Holmgren looks like he wants to come over and play with you. Are you sad that you didn't get to play one more game with him in college?
Oh, yeah, it's tough. That's my guy. And, you know, to say it ended senior year, you know, ended on great memories and good times. But, you know, I'm happy for him out here succeeding and playing great basketball right now.
Well, I know you got to head back to Utah to play the Jazz tomorrow, so I'm not going to let you get hurt. We'll let you go sit back down. Jalen, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Good to see you, too.
Thank you, Jamie. 2 great Minnesotans there, folks. Jamie Erdahl and Jalen Suggs.
3 in the building.
2 point guards.
Chet Holmgren in there. 2 point guards there.
Pacific with a basketball and a huge mountain to climb here. Jaden Byers. Good hustle on the rebound by Jeremiah Bailey. And Bailey's baseline jumper won't go. I'll tell you what, Pacific has played hard tonight.
Oh, they're playing hard, no doubt.
And they're a very physical team. They just can't shoot tonight. That's been a problem. Anderson with the rebound.
No, Leonard Perry's got these kids competing. You can only do so much. The size difference and the talent differential. Hey, he got the job July the 7th. You know, a lot of guys get their job like April the 7th. He got his in July, so he can only do so much to muster as good a recruiting group as he can. Now you give him some time to go get some kids.
After 2 Holmgren blocks, a spinning bucket by Rasir Bolton. 6 minutes in, and Gonzaga's lead is stretched.
They close out so well. They're quick and they're big. And I'm talking about the perimeter guys are big. Nemhard, Bolt, Strud.
Watson in there now, too.
Yep. They got long kids.
That's great defense by Holmgren. Never left his feet. Gonzaga in the NCAA tournament has been a dominant team. If you go back over the last 6 tournaments, they are 20-6 in the NCAA tournament. Ken Pom, you know the ratings?
Sure.
There's a guy named Ken Pomeroy. I mean, many people know that, some don't. They just know Ken Pom. Terrific column on KSL.com talking about the success of Gonzaga basketball, pointing out just exactly that. Their last 4 NCAA tournaments, they've won 15 games. Michigan's won 12. Nobody else has won more than 9. And they talk about, hey, the last since 2017 against the top 6 conferences, you throw the Big East in there, 39-11. It's the best winning percentage of any team from those 6 conferences against teams in those conferences.
And you know, a lot of people always say, well, you're in the West Coast Conference and they're not tested. Well, that's the proof. The proof is in the pudding. When they play the best teams in the country in the NCAA tournament, they get it done better than anybody else.
And the record in the NCAA is just jaw-dropping. Last 6 tournaments, 20-6.
Look, Mark Few is going to win one. And I was on with the great Bulldog today, Dan Dickow, who's got a podcast he does for Sports Illustrated. And I told him, he said, he asked, what do you think the last thing is? I said, you know what the last thing always is in sports and life? Luck. A little bit of luck, a bounce here, a call there, that's the difference. Now, they got beat by Baylor last year in the championship game. There's no doubt Baylor was that good at that time of year. But this guy, Mark Few, is going to win at least one. He probably win more. As long as you knock on the door every year like they are, it's going to happen.
Adam Morrison in the house. He is the laid-back analyst on Bulldog Radio. And, of course, a highly decorated Bulldog. Was with the Lakers for 2 NBA championships.
I mean, the guys they brought in here, especially, there's a great guard. We're talking about Dan Dickow, but they've had Jalen Suggs. They've had some great big men going way back.
Well, that's the amazing thing. The player development component here, especially for bigs. Brandon Clark, Sabonis, Killian Tilly, Hachimura, Zach Collins. I mean, just go back the last 6-7 years. They're all in the league right now.
Elias Harris. I mean, they've had tons of big guys that were good. Go back. How about they had a kid named Violet back in 2001 when I saw them in Maui, or 2002 maybe, but who was a good player too. So they've always had good bigs, always.
That would be Corey Violet.
Yeah, there you go. He was probably the first one, the first good big. Back in, like I said, it was 2001, 2002. Ronnie Turiaf. I buried my assistant. We saw him in Maui. He was a freshman. I'll never forget. I said, where'd they find this guy? They said, he's from France. I said, why don't you guys know about this guy from France? Oh, I killed my assistants. I'll never forget that. In Maui. And they were all there, wanted to have a good time because we're in Maui. I buried them because they found Ronnie Turiaf, and we don't have. I said, we got to get a guy like that.
Well, you know, the coaching tree from Gonzaga is a pretty impressive one. We talk about Dan Fitzgerald, who was really the godfather of the program. Dan Munson right now is having a really nice year at Long Beach State. You got Mark Few. Of course, Tommy Lloyd, whose team practiced here today before taking on Washington State tonight. He's doing great guns. Leon Rice at Boise State
all
is
good
an
coach.
NCAA tournament team. Billy Greer, who is an assistant at Colorado, he's the last coach to take a West Coast Conference team to the NCAA tournament that wasn't St. Mary's, Gonzaga, or BYU when San Diego went there.
And they beat UConn that year, didn't they?
I believe you're right. (58-34).
Now they're trying the zone again, which I liked when they did it in the first half. It kind of made Gonzaga do this. Stand around a little bit. Play on the perimeter. Nemhard. He struggled a little bit tonight.
Bailey with the rebound and throws it away. And a timeout on the floor. Number 2 Gonzaga, 58. 34 in control in the West Coast Conference. Before number 2 Gonzaga on top of Pacific. Tomorrow night, 9:30 Eastern, Mountain West, and this has been a wild and fun conference this year. Fresno State, Colorado State, right here on CBS Sports Network, 9:30 Eastern. And the matchup of the bigs. One guy's really tall, one guy's just big. Orlando Robinson is tall, and he's a lot like Holmgren. He plays all over the court. David Roddy is another really unique player and another great player from the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, David Roddy's like, I liken him to Charles Barkley. He's 6'6", 255. He can move, he can shoot threes. Orlando Robinson, 7'1", can score inside, also go outside a little bit. Those two, the Mountain West having a great year, I got to tell you. And Nico Medved has done a great job at Colorado State.
Wyoming, the surprise team.
Big time. Jeff Lindner, what he's done, you know, he should get votes for National Coach of the Year, I have to tell you.
Off the timeout, Gonzaga. Hunter Salas misses a three, and the putback by Nembhard.
Wyoming is a great place, beautiful town, but that is not an easy place to recruit, in my opinion. You have to 2.5 hours from Denver, tough to get to. What a beautiful place when you're there, and that guy's done an unbelievable job.
Here tonight, Gonzaga has been in control from the very start. Driving is Jaylen Brown. Timmy with the rebound. Timmy, 11 points, 5 rebounds. Chet Holmgren, 14 points, 6 rebounds. Rozier Bolton has a dozen and 4 assists. Hickman in the ball game, off the miss. Timmy's long toss out. More time on the clock.
Oh, what a move.
Inside, bucket, free throw.
He has such tremendous footwork, Drew Timmy. Great with both hands, soft touch. Watch his footwork here. He comes with the spin, goes back the other way. Nice finish.
Timmy gets the rebound. The great ball movement, Nembhard, and that's Watson, and that's one thing Mark Few told us. He may be the best passer outside of Nembhard that we have.
And you know, it all started with Drew Timmy, who's got his head up looking for guys cutting the whole time he's got the ball.
Bailey. Fires. Ball's out of bounds. Pacific
Over the back.
And I know a lot of teams were affected by COVID in 2020 and even last year, but Pacific was really affected. You go back to the last season, the full season with Damon Stoudemire, 2020, they were 23-10. They had turned the corner. They were 11-5. They finished 3rd in this conference. And then, of course, no tournament that year. They probably would have ended up in the NIT or the CBI or one of those. And then last year, they only played 18 games. They were 9-9, and Stoudemire left for the NBA in an assistant job with the Celtics.
And now they're starting all over. You know, that's just what that COVID did to some people. Joe Mihalik, who's a good friend of mine, was the head coach at Hofstra. They won their conference tournament that day. They were going to go to the NCAA tournament. Everything gets canceled. Now, Joe Mihalik, knock on wood, is doing much better. He had a stroke. Doing much better. He's not coaching anymore. That was his last year coaching. No NCAA tournament. So, you know, that was a really bad story. And there's other stories about kids being disappointed. But obviously, you know, when somebody gets sick and something happens, it's even worse. And thankfully, he's doing well now.
Bolton with a couple of buckets. Gonzaga, lots of distance here, 69-34. In Spokane tonight, the Gonzaga Bulldogs are number 2 in the country. They win tonight. They beat St. Mary's Saturday. They're probably number 1 again. Steve Lappas, this is your first trip here to the Gonzaga campus. We had a chance not only to talk to Mark Few, we took a tour of the facilities. What'd you think?
Oh, it's a great place. It's, first of all, it's beautiful country, as we know, but the arena, the practice facility, just a really, I mean, hey, look, you're talking about a blue blood program now. You're not talking about, you know, an upstart like they were 20 years ago. Now they're absolutely blue blood. Just a great program. But Mark Few is one of the best guys in this business, I can tell you.
Wilson Rausch missing a three-pointer. Three-point shots have been a mystery for Pacific all night long. They're just 1 of 16. Meanwhile,
Anton Watson with a good post up there on the baseline.
Watson off the bench. You know, he only plays about 18 or 19 minutes. He'd be playing 31 or 32 just about anywhere else.
No doubt about it.
Bolton's got 17 to lead Gonzaga. Holmgren's got 14. Drive by Brown. Timmy got a piece of the shot. Hickman in transition. Into the lane, kicks. Bolton again.
I don't see how this guy was a 30% three-point shooter at Iowa State, to tell you the truth.
45%, and that percentage is rising. He is 4 of 5 tonight. Pretty soon Steve Lapis is going to get up with the fans. This student section, which is right behind us.
It's not a great place to broadcast from, I have to be honest with you, with these kids behind you. It's not great.
Bolton again.
I'd rather be on the other side looking at him than listening to him.
This is one of the great student sections in college basketball. They've had fun tonight. Anderson step back three. That's nice. Alfonso Anderson.
I'm thinking Holmgren is done for the night.
Now, Jamie Erdahl's been close by us as well. She's had an earful, right, Jamie?
Well, I've had an earful, but I just want to give Lap the heads up. Gonzaga's at 9 three-pointers right now. If they get 10 threes, the students get free tacos, and I heard it, the kids lose their mind.
No.
So just watch out, watch out. Tacos are coming.
I got to get this three-point defense going for Pacific.
All they need is one of these. And it's taco time in Spokane. Number 2 Gonzaga up big, 74-39. Old Trapper Beef Jerky, player of the game. Not that guy. This guy, Rasir Bolton.
Yeah, I mean, it's always tough to find a player of the game on this team, but Rasir Bolton has been, 4 out of 6 from the three-point line, 20 points, 8 of 11 from the field, 3 assists, just doing it all. He was a terrific player at Iowa State, and he's gotten better here because of the way he shoots the ball.
One of the questions for Gonzaga is during West Coast Conference play, when they're not as challenged as they are in non-conference, how do they get ready for the NCAA tournament? And we told you they're 20-6 in their last 7 NCAA tournaments.
And that's obviously something that they have to concentrate on because, they have a bunch of these kind of games. I mean, they win by an average of 25 points in the conference, as good as the conference is this year. So keeping these guys active and alert by changing up in practice, doing some of the things that Mark Few was telling us about today, Rich.
Yeah, Wilson Rausch hits that three. One of the things is their Monday practices are absolute wars. It's 1 versus 1. So Timmy goes against Holmgren, Watson goes against Timmy. Oh, Salas! So their Monday practices are like scrimmages. Sometimes they actually bring officials in to officiate them. So it's like going against a top 20 team every Monday.
Hey, whatever Mark Few is doing, he's just got to keep doing it because it works. When you go to the NCAA tournament after having so many games where they're drilling their opponents and play that well in the tournament, he's doing fine. There's no doubt about it.
Timmy thought about a three, now takes it.
Not his thing.
The other thing Gonzaga does in these 2 months leading into the tournament, that's a charge, is they scout teams that they might play in the tournament. They take a lot of time watching national teams. And of course, we were telling you about the bracket preview show on CBS Saturday, February 19th, 12:30 Eastern. The projected 1 and 2 seeds. They will unveil the projected 1 through 16 in the tournament.
And, you know, that's always a great show to watch. But I tell you what, every time that show comes on, in the 3 weeks from Selection Sunday, things change in those 3 weeks. There's no doubt about it. Those teams that are projected ones now, I think except for Gonzaga, the other ones could change for sure.
Ben Gregg is in the ball game for Gonzaga. Another talented young big. There's a look at Gregg. You know, one more thing that they do in the months of January and February leading into the tournament, they study other teams that they might face, their metrics and what they do well, and they measure themselves against them. So they're making adjustments in January and February, not just for West Coast Conference opponents, but for top 10 NCAA tournament type opponents, Sweet 16, Elite 8. The number of teams they might see. They've already scouted a lot of these teams.
I think that's a great move by the coach, you know, instead of, you know, not wasting any time and just, but you know what, when you know you're going to be in the NCAA tournament, you have a different mindset than when you're on the bubble and you're trying to win every game and try to get in. They can afford to have the mindset of knowing we're there. You know, when I was coaching, there were a couple of years that we were there, but there were a lot of years when we had to fight February and early March just to get in.
20-6 in the last 7 NCAA tournaments. Anderson over Gregg and a free throw.
I don't know if that was a foul.
Alfonso Anderson, the Seattle area produces a lot of great basketball talent, a lot of NBA talent, and he went to a terrific high school, Garfield High School. Rainier Beach is great. Nathan Hale's really good. Take your pick. And Brandon Roy went to that school. Jamal Crawford, Will Conroy.
A lot of good players.
Watson, along with Strother, Gregg, Salas, and Watson. And a foul, and free throws coming. Home court advantage, well, we've heard it and felt it from our vantage point here. So has Jamie Erdahl, 64 straight. Houston's next at 37. Last home loss is back in 18 to St. Mary's, and guess who's coming to dinner Saturday night here in Spokane? St. Mary's will be here.
Yeah, I mean, just an unbelievable home court. What they did, besides the fact the average margin of victory, so it's just, you know, it's just they've got it all going. They've only been in 13 home games this year. They've trailed for 21 minutes and 23 seconds all year.
Jeremiah Bailey is fouled out. Pacific played Tuesday night, and they played the number 21 team on the road, USC, and led almost the entire game and ended up losing a close one. Not really much time to practice a lot yesterday. They shot today.
No, I mean, to stick a game like that USC game right there, well, that's a tough place. In other words, in the schedule, a tough spot. You only have a one-day prep. You got to travel here. But I'll tell you, I think the one stat that really drove me nuts when I saw it was, this is the 109th straight AP poll where they're ranked. So they've been ranked every week since 2017. That's 109 weeks. Villanova's second in the country in that, and they have half, 54 weeks. So that's an incredible statistic. 109 straight weeks in the AP poll.
And this is, I mean, with the improvement of Holmgren and Strother, a couple of youngsters, Strother a sophomore, Holmgren's a true freshman, and a freshman bench essentially. This is a much better Gonzaga team. It could have been spectacular. This is a much better Gonzaga team than you saw in November and December when they were playing the toughest part of their schedule.
Well, just alone that Chet Holmgren is that much better than he was, it makes them a much better team. So that by itself is a big reason.
You know, I'll bet you the one team they don't want to face in the NCAA tournament, at least until the Final Four, was practicing in their facility today. And that's Arizona, because they're mirror images. Tommy Lloyd, of course, the longtime assistant. They run a lot of the same stuff, same type of personnel as well. Strother, Hickman, beautiful.
You know, the truth is, Arizona, Duke, Auburn, they have the 4 and 5 position that's pretty good for them too, that can give Gonzaga trouble. There's no doubt about it. You talk about Tubelis and Coloco for Arizona. You're talking about Walker Kessler, Jabari Smith for Auburn. You talk about Boncaro and Mark Williams for Duke. That's pretty good 4s and 5s to go against Holmgren and Timmy.
Watson in and out. Greg keeps it alive. Sam Freeman with the rebound for Pacific. Angelovic. Miss on the 3. Boy, Pacific from distance, 3 of 19. That's a foul. That's going to send Strother to the line. One of the best tempo teams in the country, and they've shown it tonight. The Gonzaga Bulldogs are number 2 and up 81-49. That's a foul.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Intuit TurboTax Live. You do your thing. We've got your taxes. By DiGiorno. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno. And by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Every night's a big night at the Kennel. Coming up, Brent and the gang get you all caught up in the night's news and highlights inside college basketball. A 24-hour home of CBS Sports. In Spokane, Rich Waltz along with Steve Lapis. Jamie Erdahl is here as well. It's a big weekend in the West Coast Conference. Gonzaga taking care of business tonight. St. Mary's is here on Saturday. The 81-49 lead, and importantly, the crowd is still here. Probably because, as Jamie illustrated, 10 made threes means free tacos for everybody. And Gonzaga's made 9 right now.
Well, I've heard there's going to be a lot of noise when they do it. But now at least, you know, Mark Few's putting in some of his bench kids.
And you know what? They've got a better chance with the bench kids coming in, because when bench kids get a chance to shoot a 3, they do it. They don't hesitate.
Well, but I'm happy to see Strother go out the game now. So that's one guy. That's one less guy I got to worry about.
Pacific just couldn't get it done from distance.
And it's no coincidence that Gonzaga's a very good defensive three-point shooting team.
This is Jaden Byers. Cut off. Lob pass. That's nice. That's really nice.
Yeah, really
from Byers. Freeman the catch and the bucket. All right, let's look for a 3 here and some tacos.
I wouldn't mind them making a 3 if these guys weren't going to go crazy behind me.
just buckle your seatbelt.
Here we go. Oh no! Gotta get my earmuffs.
Tacos, coach.
I thought it was gonna be worse. I'll be honest, I thought it was gonna be worse.
That was a mild celebration.
That was mild.
Compared to Wilson. Rouse misses. Craig has the rebound. So everyone's going to get to eat tonight. 6 o'clock start local. I'm sure the taco place is still open.
Do we get to?
Yes. We were here. Oh, good move. I like him.
Yeah.
Jaden Byers, the freshman from Riverside.
I do too. I agree.
All right, this is for all the tacos. Into the ball game, Joe Few, son of Mark Few. Matthew Lang is in. Will Graves is in. Martinez Arlaskas is in. Pacific.
Yeah, this kid's got a little game.
He's not afraid either. He got popped in the mouth on that drive. Craig, a 3.
You know, one thing about Mark Few. He's always got some big guy stashed who doesn't play that much. And all of a sudden, I look at this guy and say, I don't know. I remember when I saw Petrusev for the first time come off the bench in one of these situations, I said, who's this guy? He's pretty good.
Final minute in Spokane.
Tommy Lloyd could find those guys, I'll tell you that. Good move. Oh, Charles.
Updated tonight, and the top two teams, Gonzaga and St. Mary's, hold serve. St. Mary's a big win over an improved San Diego team, and Gonzaga is going to extend all the streaks. 30 straight conference wins, 65 straight at home, 18 straight against Pacific. This is Joe Few. Oh, shot was blocked. Oliveira got it for Pacific. Brown. It stays with the Tigers. Now the Tigers have some winnable games on the rest of their schedule. They've got Loyola Marymount a couple times, Portland. They're on the road at San Diego, and they've got a pretty good USF team coming to Stockton. Gonzaga's got St. Mary's this Saturday. They still have to go to St. Mary's as well. They still have to go to San Francisco as well. They got Santa Clara coming here. And a trip to Malibu to face Pepperdine.
It's just so hard to guard these big guys. That's the other teams in this league, the good teams in the league, like St. Mary's, like San Francisco. They don't have guys to guard them.
This one was not in doubt from the start. Gonzaga was impressive tonight, the number 2 team in the country. An 89-51 win. Leonard Perry, Mark Few. No doubt talking about that time when Leonard Perry was an Idaho Vandal point guard and Mark Few was an assistant. And Leonard Perry got the best of him.
Right, you give Leonard Perry some time. He gets his own guys in here, and these kids played hard tonight. They were severely outmanned.
Yeah, the Bulldogs, in a lot of great numbers, if you look at them, they were plus 11 on the boards, shot 51% from the field, 39% with 11 threes, really good at the line, 17 assists for 35 buckets. That's a key number for them as well. It's a young team, too. I mean, I know, look, Timmy and Bolton and Nemhard are veterans, but the energy off the bench with Watson, a sophomore, Hickman and Salas.
And they have such great chemistry. They play so well together. They pass the ball to each other. They got guys who can shoot. They are, and like Mark's, all of his teams recently have been really big on the perimeter. Forget about Holmgren and Timmy, but Nemhard, Bolton, those guys are tall, long kids also, so they cover a lot of space defensively.
Bolton had a great night. It's good to see his teammates get into him there in the huddle. He had 20 points. He was 8-11 from the field. So we told you Saturday, St. Mary's on the road against Pepperdine. They still have 2 games against St. Mary's. They got to go to Moraga. San Francisco also on that road trip over the 24th and the 26th. And of course, the West Coast Conference tournament is always in Las Vegas. And the number 1 and 2 teams in the standings get buys into the semifinals in that tournament.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, St. Mary's wants to get that second spot.
Jamie Urdahl is with Rasheer Bolton.
Thanks, man.
Rasheer, you've doubled your point output tonight, 20 this evening. What's been opening up your game lately?
I think just sticking to the game plan, you know, playing my role, you know, listening to Coach Few and just, you know, staying ready, staying shot ready and getting those open shots up. So, you know, they failed tonight, so it was a good night.
Your guys were just celebrating you out there. What's that mean to you?
It means a lot, you know, being a transfer, coming into a new situation. You know, you never know how it might go, but, you know, those guys welcome me with open arms and become my brother. So it's been great.
Now, this was my first time here. The stands were rocking tonight, and you hit 4 threes, part of the going to the tacos for the students. What's the atmosphere like here in a game like this?
I mean, it's great. You know, they show love every night. You know, they show out every night we play a home game. So, you know, I appreciate them for being here, and, you know, we gotta hit those threes so they can get some tacos.
On to Saturday. Thanks.
Thank you.
Tacos for everybody. Thank you, Jamie. Nice job tonight. And that's a wrap here in Spokane. For Steve Lapis, Jamie Erdahl, our entire CBS crew, I'm Rich Waltz. A presentation of CBS Sports Network, 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Back to New York, Brett and the gang inside college basketball. Take it away.